From doing small theater shows out of his high school to being inspired by Heath Ledger, Timothée Chalamet has a few reasons for starting acting. Here's everything I know. Before he became a big shot in Hollywood, this guy had a pretty interesting life, and he kind of dabbled in everything. He was born and raised in New York City, so he's a true city kid at heart. Growing up, he attended a private school called LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts, which is where he started to develop a love for acting. From a young age, Timothy was already drawn to the arts. He attended the Performing Arts High School and took part in many school plays, which helped him hone his acting skills. But he wasn't just focused on his acting career. He loved playing sports, especially soccer, and he was a really talented player. He also enjoyed playing the guitar and writing his own music. He actually kind of became a small-time celebrity just for his rapping. And he wasn't just any rapper, but a pretty damn good one too. He went by the name Lil Timmy Tim and had quite the following on YouTube. Who knows, maybe we'll see him return to his rap roots one day. I mean, he did have some serious skills. Despite his many interests, Timothy's true passion was acting. He started off doing small plays and performances in his high school and managed to bag the lead role in his high school's production of Sweet Charity.
Guys and girls my age everywhere, like that exists like in the Mean Girls universe for me. Like as far as like defining
That's awesome.
like a moment for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So what was that? Did that feel like a get when you got it? Was it insane being on that set?
But it wasn't until he saw Heath Ledger's The Joker that Timothy realized that acting was something he truly wanted to pursue. He was blown away by the performances in the film and felt this passion start to build up in him. He has said in interviews that he's always drawn to the way that acting allowed him to explore different emotions and perspectives. He saw it as a way to escape into different worlds and connect with people on a deeper level. And soon he began to be noticed by people.
In Italy, in a town called Crema, which is where our director was from, so
Every
we could
shot is
shoot a
beautiful.
scene and go home right away. That was the game plan.
My gosh, you're fantastic in it.
Thank you.
Army
Hammer,
Army
Michael
Hammer
Stuhlbarg.
is unbelievable. Oh, the guy, your dad?
Yeah, he has an amazing speech at the end of the movie that.
But it wasn't until he landed a role in the TV series Homeland that he started to make a name for himself. But if you're wondering how he skyrocketed to fame so quickly, let me answer that question for you. It's not really that complicated, to be honest. Fiorello LaGuardia High School is kind of known as the fame school for actors because of how most of its alumni end up getting famous. Ansel Elgort is just one example. LaGuardia is very selective with its students, and only a couple of other schools like it exist in all of New York. And obviously, you have to pay a ton to even have one foot in the door. So Timothy's affluent family's New York connections probably helped a lot. I mean, his mom literally worked on Broadway. His aunt also works in the film industry as a producer, and so does his uncle. He already had such deep connections even before entering LaGuardia. So don't beat yourself up if you think you aren't doing as much as him. It's kind of naive to think that anyone can visit Hollywood, take a few courses, and rise to fame. Most Hollywood stars typically come from privileged backgrounds that give them connections that normal people wouldn't have access to. But I'm not disregarding his talent at all. He's probably one of the best actors of our generation, and he proved himself with Interstellar. After the movie, he continued to make waves in the film industry. He landed a starring role in the indie hit Call Me By Your Name, which earned him critical acclaim and a nomination for Best Actor at the Academy Awards.
Well, we hadn't had a really proper rehearsal yet. Army tells this story better than I do, so I'll let him cut me off at a certain point. But you know, we were rehearsing the villa. We were shot the film where the film takes place, and Luca, our director, one day says, "Okay, let's do a rehearsal. We're gonna go into the backyard. Join us."
But Timothy didn't stop there. He went on to star in many other successful films, including Lady Bird and Beautiful Boy, and how could I forget Little Women. Outside of acting, Timothy has also been keeping himself busy with a number of other projects. He's known for his impeccable fashion sense and has become somewhat of a style icon, even landing on the cover of GQ magazine. In addition to his fashion chops, Timothy's also been exploring his musical talents and played the guitar in the film Call Me By Your Name. But don't worry, Timothy hasn't forgotten his roots. He's still passionate about the theater and has returned to the stage many times to perform in plays.
Is something I have to do or I want to be a part of. It's a feeling of like claustrophobia or pressure at first, and like a feeling that I need to be a part of it, and then thinking, what's the audition process going to be, and how do I get as close to this goal as possible.
But Hollywood seems to be his main focus for now, where he's given us some of his best roles. One of his most acclaimed performances was in the coming-of-age drama Call Me By Your Name. He played Ilio, a 17-year-old boy who falls in love with an older man. Timothy's portrayal of Ilio was so nuanced and sensitive, and he really brought the character to life. Another standout role for Timothy was in Lady Bird, directed by Greta Gerwig. He played Kyle, a brooding, moody teen who ends up becoming Saoirse Ronan's love interest.
And I just love this scene because it ostensibly is about the gender limitations on women at the time, and at the same time it's so universal and also timeless in some way.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Thanks.
like that.
Timothy's chemistry with Saoirse was electric, and his portrayal of Kyle was both captivating and heartbreaking. And of course, we can't forget his role as the iconic Laurie in the 2019 adaptation of Little Women.
Well, it was a New York event, and I felt, I'm a New York guy, and I felt like it was due diligence to thank any and all New York artists that inspired me. And the next day, somebody had messaged her that this kid had mentioned her in a speech, and, she acknowledged it.
One thing that's really impressive about Timothy is the range of directors he's worked with. From Luca Guadagnino to Greta Gerwig to Christopher Nolan. He's had the opportunity to learn from some of the best in the business.
Great reception the movie's gotten, but also how much people have been showing up to the premieres and stuff, because so much of it's consumed in media or music or film. There's higher corporate interest, there's focus grouped scripts and promotional materials.
In fact, he's spoken in interviews about how much he's learned from working with Greta Gerwig. He's praised her for her attention to detail and her ability to create a collaborative environment on set. But it's not just Greta that Timothy has learned from. He's also spoken about the valuable lessons he's gained from working with directors like Denis Villeneuve and Christopher Nolan. Kind of a dream to work with the same director that kickstarted your passion for your entire career. With his dedication to his craft and the opportunity to work with some of the best in business, I can't wait to see what he'll do next. Some of his best roles are still on the horizon. This guy's been impressing audiences left and right with his incredible range.
This is all nerve-wracking, honestly, but in a good way, and I'm very grateful for all of it. But, it's just a surreal thing I've been looking up to everyone in these rooms basically my whole life. So it's a weird thing to be, there.
But first, I have to talk about Wonka. That's right, Timothée Chalamet is set to play the iconic candy maker in a new film directed by Paul King. The movie will explore the origins of Willy Wonka and how he became the eccentric chocolatier we all know and love. Nobody knows much about the plot yet, but with Timothy's charm and talent, I'm sure it's going to be a sweet treat. Next, he'll be starring in 4,000 Miles, an adaptation of Amy Herzog's Pulitzer Prize nominated play. He'll be playing the lead role of Leo, a 21-year-old who embarks on a cross-country bike trip after the death of his best friend. The play's known for its emotional depth and witty dialogue, and we're excited to see how Timothy will bring his own unique spin to the character. He also has the second part of Dune coming up. He'll be playing the lead role of Paul Atreides, a young man who must lead a rebellion against a powerful empire. The cast is stacked, with names like Zendaya, Oscar Isaac, and Jason Momoa, rounding out the ensemble. This movie is going to be massive, and I can't wait to see Timothy in action.
I'm really impressed that Zendaya's been working all these interviews. We just blow smoke.
You're the best.
You're the best. No, but it's just amazing she just put consistencies and.
He's also going to be taking on the role of Bob Dylan in Going Electric, which is directed by James Mangold. The movie will explore Dylan's transition from folk music to rock and roll in the 1960s. This is a challenging role for any actor, but no one doubts that Timothy is up for the task. Well, that's all for why Timothée Chalamet started acting.